up, aligning with each other, joining the space. So how I want to do that is by practicing holding space for transformation. So the first step to holding space is to find your feet on the ground. Or if you're sitting with your bottom on the ground, that's fine. Then really locate your bottom on the ground. But you want to have a nice, solid connection to the earth. And then draw your attention to your breath. And then next, just imagine that you have a nice, firm back and a nice, soft front. So I'm going to continue to talk us through holding space. So with your feet on the ground, with that lifted chest that's open and receiving, and that nice firm spine. Just set the intention to be unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. And as your mind wanders, just bring it back to your feet on the ground. And being unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. No need to try hard. Just relax and let it be. Unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. No need to effort. No need to try. Just being unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Noticing you have a lifted chest, a strong back. Your feet are connected to the earth. unconditional love, and unconditional acceptance. And slowly opening your eyes, continuing to feel your feet on the ground. Awesome. So I'm going to invite you throughout this call to practice that, just to practice lifting the heart, keeping the feet on the ground, and noticing when you stop breathing, and just start to breathe. Okay. So I'd like to take a few minutes to open up to have folks share an acknowledgement. So part of this course is that you write in your acknowledgement journal at least once a week. And your acknowledgement journal is part of that workbook that we sent you. So, but if you have a journal you prefer, go ahead and use the other journal. But there is an acknowledgement journal in your workbook. And what the acknowledgement's about, it's just noticing, paying attention to when you do something or when you're being well. So it could be noticing that you didn't interrupt someone. It could be noticing that you took care of yourself when you got really uptight or scared or felt really helpless. That noticing, what did you do to take care of yourself? It could be acknowledging yourself for showing up on a call when you didn't want to, when you were feeling like, I really rather just stay in my little hole or cave or whatever it is. Or it could be acknowledging yourself when you let go of busyness, to just take a breath. So those acknowledgements that I mentioned were broad, but those are all things that you might do in relationship to cultivating racial justice. One final word about acknowledgements. You could say, why acknowledge people? Why acknowledge myself when there's so much pain and suffering in the world and I haven't done that much? And I'll tell you, one of the foundational assumptions of this course is that what we don't need more in the world is judgment. And you judging yourself harshly actually doesn't contribute to the movement to cultivate more racial justice and diversity. So and we're going to get to this a little bit later in the call, but if you want to create compassion, if you want a world where there's more kindness and there's more acceptance and there's more inclusion and there's gentleness and there's justice, then the only way we get to that world is by being that right now, by practicing and learning. So that's why we do acknowledgements to ourselves, because you are the instrument of transformation. So if you don't take care of the instrument, then you're not effective. And hurt people hurt other people. I'm sure you've heard that before. So you're the instrument that's been sent to this planet, to this call, to this moment. So take care of your instrument. All right. So with that said, would anybody be willing to share an acknowledgement for herself or a celebration for something that's opened up for you since you've been taking this course? In the case of Mary Kay, not Mary Kay, in the case of Mary Glazer, there's two Mary, there's a Mary Megan and there's a Mary Glazer on the call.
You can call me Mary Kay as a...
Oh, good. Okay, great. So in the case of Mary Kay, and Mary Kay was doing the 30 days of Holding Space for Transformation challenge with me. And so that's how she got into the course. But I'm going to stop talking for a moment. And I'm going to start with my phone ladies. Would either one of you like to acknowledge yourselves for something?
Yeah, I mean, I can go first if no one else is chomping at the bit.
Mary Megan?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. So yesterday, I was co-facilitating a class at my church, a Unitarian church, on sexuality for 8th and 9th graders. And it's this big, long program we have, and it's really, really awesome. I'm super excited to be in it. That's just a little bit of the background. So I was talking during the break to one of my co-facilitators and, just getting to know him a little bit better. And I explained to him that, part of why I got into teaching the kids this information is because, I'm a feminist, and I think that it's really important for the kids to have correct, accurate medical information about sexuality, coupled with talking about healthy relationships. And he got into talking about his daughter, who's also a feminist, and was talking to him about Hugh Hefner, who had just passed, and how terrible he was and how awful the things that he had done were. And, my beliefs sort of aligned more with his daughter, but he told me that he was like pushing back against his daughter, and, didn't he sort of usher in like a sexual revolution, and didn't he sort of, none of the women who did anything were, there against their will. I think that's debatable. And he was sort of questioning his daughter, and I'm listening to this and I'm getting upset, but I'm staying calm and I'm just listening to him. And, when he finally gets to his point, which I'm going to get to, my point, he says that he really just wanted his daughter to ask more questions and explore more instead of just looking at things from a narrow perspective. And I was really glad that I got to hear that from him instead of just jumping at him and saying like, no, you're wrong. Hugh Hefner was terrible. And I'm like, I'm glad that I got to hear from him that he wants his daughter to see the world more broadly instead of just viewing things in one certain way. I don't fully agree with the things that he was saying, but I'm glad that I got to hear from him what he was saying. So I feel like I was trying to hold space for transformation in that moment. I don't know if I did it super well, but that's sort of a moment for me where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm glad I stepped back and I didn't say anything right away. And I just kind of let this guy keep talking. And I'm really happy with what I got to hear him say.
Wow. Yay. That's a great example. That's a great example.
Thank
And
you.
all I would say is that the first step is always to get your feet on the ground. You know, when
Yeah.
someone,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, when someone kind of blows you away, or as they talk, it kind of gets bigger and bigger. Get the feet on the ground, get to the breath. That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Time for one more. Mary or Laura? There's a way for you to raise your hands, but I'm not that sophisticated. So I kind of need you to, okay, Mary Kay, you raised your hand? Okay, I'm unmuting you then.
This is, so I'll just say that I have a hard time connecting still the holding space with the moment. And I also believe that the holding space, sort of affects my whole being. So I wasn't thinking of holding space when this happened, but this was a Facebook interaction. My cousin is Jimmy is very angrily opposed to what's been happening with the NFL players, choosing different ways of witnessing against racial violence during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And I have been very much in support of them, and have put things on my Facebook wall. And he responded to one of them and insisting that it's only about disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the country. And I was aware of wanting to respond, not out of my anger toward him. I felt like sometimes I don't respond to that stuff on Facebook. I felt like it was right to respond, and I needed to respond in a way that wasn't out of my anger. And so I posted something about, I can't remember if it was a question, but it was fairly short about, like why didn't he believe the players when they said it wasn't about the flag and about the country, because that's what they're saying. And his response was, it's the NFL rules, they need to obey the rules. And my next response was, why is that rule more important than rules against, things like domestic violence for the players? He didn't respond to that. He just said, in all caps, obey the rules. And at that point, I stopped engaging. And so both the engagement that I chose and the decision to stop engaging felt right to me. And I did feel grounded in in that interaction. Mm-hmm. I wish that he had been more engaged rather than just standing in his whatever place he's standing in. Mm-hmm. I feel like my responses offered the space for that, and for whatever reason he chose not to or was not able to step into that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. I love how you were at choice each step of the way, choosing what to do and what felt like the right thing for you to do in this situation. Mm-hmm. And I also love that you asked a question. Such a great question. And just the last thing I'll say is that holding space in a conflict like that via Facebook is it's hard to do. It's hard to do. Yeah, so I think you have to trust your trusted source, how you're guided.
Mm-hmm.
And generally what I tell people is, don't really try to shift somebody's heart via Facebook. It's just, I haven't seen it work yet. And then you just have to ask yourself, wow, do I want to have a conversation with Jimmy on the phone? You know, you have to really be honest. And the honest answer is, no, then, move on, maybe not now. Or, and I'll put this out to you, Mary Kay, is, because it just came to me. Maybe there's a prayer to be said for him. And what I mean is that sometimes we think we're praying for other people, and what we're praying for those other people inside of ourselves. And they don't need to know. It doesn't have to be a condescending thing. Oh, I'll pray for you, like that. Like, you're so screwed up. It can just be your practice, because it's about not throwing him out of your heart. And I only put that out there as an invitation because you don't have to pray for everybody. It's a question of, do you have the capacity, Mm-hmm. So, and it came to me. So that's why I said it out loud, but you choose.
Thank you.
This is awesome. Thank you, everybody. Laura, I'm going to pick you up in the next set of questions. So I'd love to hear from you too. So I want us to talk about, so you've experienced holding space for transformation so far, and seeing what it's opened up for you in your regular life. What I want to highlight is that, so if you start to practice it like on a regular basis, you can begin to do it without consciously saying, okay, I'm holding space. It can become a default mode for you. And for that to happen, that does take a daily practice so that your body automatically locks in. But today I want to talk about vision. Because we're holding space for transformation, not just holding space. So what is that transformation that we envision, that we have in mind, or that we can feel in our hearts? Sometimes the word vision implies that you can see it. And for some people, that's their primary mode. But for a lot of us, it's like a feeling. Like when you say, what's your vision for, racial justice and whole society or human liberation, that may be more of a feeling in you than you can say, okay, there's a parliament. I mean, you know what I mean? So this morning, I want us to connect with our vision, what we're holding space for. Because we want that vision of transformation to be what guides our work, to be the context in which we are choosing our actions. So I said to you earlier, you can't get to kindness without being kind, or you can't get to compassion without practicing, and you can't get to justice without practicing justice. So, and what I'm saying to you now is that you can't get to that transformation if you don't have a vision of what it is. And by vision, I mean that word inclusively, like the feeling of what it is. Maybe you can see some things, or it's my husband's a musician, and so he's very auditory. So what does it sound like, So we're going to take some time this morning to have you feel into your vision. Another reason why it's important to sink into our vision is because our default is fear. That back part of our brain, they call it the limbic brain, the reptilian brain. It's important. It's instinctual. Actually, it can save your life. If you just stop someone from crossing the street in a moment without thinking about it consciously. I mean, there's a role for these instinctual actions. And it's designed to like stop you from dying, you know, for self-preservation. But one of the limits of only coming from that brain is that every situation is not a situation where you are about to be killed. But the limbic brain doesn't necessarily know that, you know? So when we come from fear, when our default is fear, which it is for many, many, many of us, then then it gives us rise to certain actions, because fear comes from, I'm gonna die. So I gotta preserve myself, which sometimes means I gotta attack you to preserve me. Or I have to run into a hole and hide to preserve me, you know, flight or fight. So I just want to have us to take a moment to notice what fear feels like in our bodies. Like when we feel fear, just take a moment to notice, what does that feel like in your body? I mentor someone one-on-one, and she was sharing with me, she was in a progressive organization making a very difficult decision about budgets from fear. And she said, it became like tunnel vision. It became like either or, yes or no. It was like the room got smaller. And so they made a decision from that space. And it wasn't until afterwards, when there was a whole bunch of repercussions, that she saw, oh my God, we could have asked more people. We could have gotten more information. We could have noticed that we're all feeling terrified and say, does this really have to happen right now at this moment? It was like she was saying, you could expand the space. It's not just you and the crisis. You could ask yourself, is it really this crisis? Are we really the people to make this decision on our own? What else is possible? You know? But when you're in fear, maybe it seems like either or, black and white. Maybe there's a sense of urgency driving you that just gets your heart pumping and you adrenalize, but you can't feel the ground underneath your feet. So I'd love for you to just take a moment, if you have a piece of paper or journal or something like that with you, please just take a moment, and I really do mean a moment, to doodle, draw, color. What does fear feel like coming through your body? So this is a nonverbal, you can use one or two words, but non-linear. Just move that pen or whatever you have nearby across a piece of paper. What does fear feel like? And just let your pen express it. I'm going to give you just a minute. Great. Just bring yourself to a pause there. This is definitely something you could come back to if you choose to, but just let that be complete for the moment. And now, I'd love for you to, if you have any water nearby, just take a sip of water. And let's go ahead and just roll the shoulders back, feel the feet on the ground, lift the chest up. Awesome. Now we're going to shift gears to vision. Like, what does vision feel like in your body? So this is an inquiry. This is not a, you know, the answer before you ask the question. This is just a being with this moment. What does this inquiry feel like? So I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to stay with yourself and just notice what this feels like. And the inquiry is, how does racial justice and inclusion feel inside my body? How does racial justice and inclusion, when no one's left out, no one is less than, everybody's included, everybody's cherished, how does that feel inside your body? Everybody's included. Everybody's seen. Everybody's noticed. Everybody's valued. How does that feel inside your body? I'm going to take a moment to unmute you all, and I want to give Laura the first opportunity to speak in case she has something, because I can't see you raise your hand.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah.
Well, here's exactly what happened to me when you said inclusion, is that I had this great feeling of just encompassing every person in the world with so much love. And then the next thing that happened were the people that I have love for, who are close to me in my life, who I am disappointed in. and so I have this abundant love for people I'm not as close to.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that I am close to, those are the ones that are causing this emotional feeling where I don't know the words that I can, I don't know the words, the actions, where I can reach them most effectively. And so so that's my struggle. That's my struggle this morning.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Let me just ask you one more thing. When you were in your body feeling the inclusion, you said, tell me what, any sensations?
I could feel my chest expanding. I could feel my ribs expanding. I could feel my arms just automatically left the sides of my body.
Yes.
Just what you're doing is what exactly how I'm feeling.
Yes.
I feel so open.
Mm-hmm.
So open and not at all vulnerable in that open position.
Okay, so pause there, Laura, because you're just leading us beautifully into the next piece of this. And the next piece of this is to, with your paper and whatever you have to write or draw or color with, whatever's handy for you, stay with those feelings, the sensations in your body of what those words brought up for you. And go ahead and move your paper across, move your implement, your writing implement across the page, staying with those feelings. So you can have your eyes open, no problem. If you want to have them closed, you can do that. But the whole thing is to stay connected to yourself and all those feelings that rose up for you, what it feels like in your body when you are in the vision of racial justice and inclusion, where everybody's valued, everybody's important, everybody gets seen. And I'm going to give you a minute. Just allow yourself to bring that to a pause, because we will be coming back to this. Awesome. So what I invite you to do is to set a timer sometime this week. Set a timer for 5 minutes and just come back to this drawing, this expression. And if the coming through your fingers isn't the way you like to, feels incomplete or not that connected to your essence, then go ahead and do something else. Maybe it's movement, or maybe you want to sit down at a piano or another instrument, or use your voice. And just for 5 minutes, just let that feeling come through you. However you choose to do it, I want you to record yourself. So if you choose to move it out, or you choose to sing it out, or play it on an instrument out, or draw it out, so that there's a record of it. You don't have to share this with anybody. Nobody's going, this could be your private thing, or if you choose to, you might share it with 1 or 2 people, or you might want to share it with our whole Facebook group. It's really up to you. But I want you to take 5 minutes and put it on a timer so you don't stop, and just be with the feelings that come from being inside your vision. And at the end of that 5 minutes, what words come to mind for you? What are the words that come to mind for you? It might be 3 words, it might be 5. Don't make it a paragraph. Unless, no, you can make it a paragraph if you like that. I just don't want you to feel like you have to write something long. But just take time to let surface what words come to you. So I'm gonna unmute you guys to make sure that you don't have any questions, because that's an important piece of your work. Let's start with, does that make sense for you, Mary Megan?
Yeah, everything makes sense for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. And because I can't see you, Laura, so I'm asking you guys on the phone. Laura, is that clear for you?
Yes, it does. I'm excited about this.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
And Mary Kay is good. All right, awesome. Let's just take a moment. I think you guys are like the advanced group. I really do. Because it's 8:59 and I feel like, okay, let me finish before I tell you all that stuff. So you're going to do your 5 minutes of your vision. And if you feel comfortable, please share it with us on Facebook, but that is not a requirement. Other people have in the past and some people don't. I put my vision under my pillow. I slept with my vision. And I just want to give you that option in case you haven't thought about it. And of course, you can share it with someone if you choose to. And then the other piece is I recommend that you practice holding space for transformation 10 minutes daily. You could do 10 minutes straight, or maybe you do 5 and 5. But I recommend it and see what happens for you. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock. I love this moment. Thank you so much for being here on this call. This is perfect for me. Okay. So let's have a 1-word checkout. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to call on you to get us through it. So I'll start with you, Mary Kay. What's a 1 word for what you're at, what you're feeling right now?
Grace.
Awesome. Laura.
Love.
Mary Megan.
Grateful.
Yeah. My word is grateful too. Thank you so much. What a beautiful way to start the day.
Thank you. Can you sign me? Can you invite me to the Facebook page?
Yes, I will.
Great.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wait. Stay on the line, Mary Kay. I have a question for you. Bye, everybody else. I need to just say this on Mary Kay. The Facebook group.
All right, bye.
Bye. The Facebook group is it's a closed group, but it's, you can find it. So why don't I send you the name of it?
Okay.
So then, because we've had problems trying to, sometimes there's a delay, and I just want you to be able to get in there.
Okay.
I'll send you the link. I mean, not a link. I'll send you the name of the group, and you can just search for it. And
you want to just give me the name? Is it easy?
Yeah. Why don't I do that? So now I got into full screen. 1 moment.
I mean, if it's easier to send me the name, that's okay too.
No, this way you can leave the call complete. Okay, good. It's called Say the Wrong Thing, Strategies for Racial Justice.
Okay.
Awesome. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I want you to know the payment went through fine.
Oh, good. That's good. My first time using PayPal.
Great.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.